Lena had always been a talented artist. She could paint landscapes so vivid you could almost feel the breeze on your face. But her true passion was painting people. That's why she was thrilled when she was commissioned to paint a portrait for a reclusive old woman named Mrs. Hawthorne, who lived in the outskirts of town. When Lena arrived at the mansion, Mrs. Hawthorne gave her only one instruction: capture my essence. Dear, finish the portrait within 7 days. No more, no less. Lena agreed, though she found it strange how the woman always sat in a dim room, avoiding direct light. As Lena worked on the portrait, something odd began to happen. Mrs. Hawthorne's eyes, lifeless and cold at first, began to look disturbingly real on the canvas. They seemed to follow Lena's every move, and each night, as she left the mansion, she could swear she saw the eyes blink. By the 4th day, Lena's sleep was filled with nightmares. She dreamt of the painting coming to life, the figure on the canvas stepping out, looming over her bed. Watching her sleep, each day, Mrs. Hawthorne grew more and more excited, her voice taking on an unsettling tone. On the 7th and final day, Lena put the finishing touches on the portrait. She turned to show it to Mrs. Hawthorne, only to find the chair empty. The old woman was gone, and the mansion had grown eerily quiet. But when Lena looked back at the painting, her blood ran cold. Mrs. Hawthorne was no longer in the portrait. Instead, Lena saw herself, painted perfectly on the canvas, her eyes wide in terror. The brush fell from her hand as the realization hit her. She hadn't captured Mrs. Hawthorne's essence. Mrs. Hawthorne had captured hers.